you ready to party? Let's go. Patrick Lee Gipson, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to be here and just meet other like-minded individuals who've been going through this nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, you ain't kidding, man. And you traveled quite a distance to get down here, man.
Not too bad,
I like the attitude. He's all stoked. I'm like, bro, that's a long way.
Right.
When you've driven an RV from here to Arizona and back by you're the only one who could drive it.
Are you talking one day? Please tell me it's not one day.
I drove in, not one day, but there all the way one day, and then back. No nonstop, that's nothing, A little bit of traffic, it's all good.
What's that drive like?
Oh, they're going to Arizona in an RV.
In an RV,
whoa.
yeah.
It's
there's an RV.
Man.
Oh my god,
good movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great. That's a good pull, right?
That's an RV.
There's an RV, dude. That's it. Oh my. Now, is that for work or is that personal?
Oh, it was a vacation we
did
a couple years ago.
Okay.
Something like that. And it was an experience. Yeah.
Dude, I feel you, man. And so everybody knows Sam Komalafe is here filling in for Jordan. Jordan's gone for a little bit. He's getting some stuff done. So thank you, Sam, for filling in and also operating the camera.
Of course, bro.
Yes,
of course. Jordan, this is a big seat, man. Yeah. Big seat, big mic, big seat.
With a long torso.
Oh, that's right.
Dude. Oh, but dude, Pat, so you're in law enforcement, right?
Yes, sir.
But you're also running for Congress.
Absolutely.
Which is beautiful.
Thank you.
How did you get into law enforcement to start off with?
Well, that was back in, let's see, in the late 90s. So I got into the sheriff's department. That was a feat in itself because basically I didn't know I was going to be in law enforcement and do all the other stuff. I was a lifeguard. I was planning to be a I actually wanted to go into fire department myself.
Okay. You did lifeguarding?
Oh yeah,
No way.
Man, I'll tell you, like 10, 11 years.
Was that state or was that for LA County?
It was LA County and LA City.
Dang.
So
LA City has lifeguards too?
Yep. They have lifeguards. There's a bunch of pools in LA City. And I worked at Castaic Lake for county.
Okay.
And,
right.
And that was, I think, from what I went through in the sheriff's department, their academy for the lifeguarding for the lake was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Was it harder than LA County?
Oh yeah, it was.
Really?
It was amazing. They're. And you would think a lake, it's just a lake. Oh yeah, right, man. It's I think it was May or April, somewhere around there. We had our rookie school, and these guys, they were like, thought we were training Navy SEALs or something.
It was
like
full
that.
boot camp, huh?
Oh yeah, and you're running around a lake, then you're jumping in, swimming a mile. You're free diving 75 feet. And
did they make you guys do like the run, swim?
Oh
thing?
yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, that is so tiring.
I was a college swimmer, high school swimmer. So
okay, but you're ready, kind of.
Back then, I was in pretty good shape back then.
yeah, for real, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be no lifeguard right now.
No,
I'll surf all day, but man. But it gets windy up at Castaic. I worked out there for a while.
It can get a little windy, yeah. Just especially during summertime. But then you'd be out, during the other off-season time, and it gets pretty chilly out there with the water. So I was like, so that's basically where I started from. I had another guy who was actually thinking of getting into law enforcement, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's like, I tried other stuff, but I'll give you a reason why I never thought I would be in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Actually had a weird, this is a God moment. And for me, I never thought I'd, be in there. I grew up poor. My dad was probably not the most law-abiding person in the world himself, but it just happened that way. So I actually had a vision. Driving to my girlfriend's house, and I have to pull over and I have to stop. And I go, what the heck am I seeing? Right. So I'm like, I never took drugs. And I was like, I think I started, even touching alcohol when I was 23. So when I was 21, I was like, nope, because I didn't want to be like how my dad was and how he grew up.
I got you.
So for me, alcoholism was like, don't touch it, things like that. And then I didn't have that addictive personality or anything like that. So I was like, all right, well, I was afraid at that point. So I didn't really touch stuff like that till I got older. So going back to there, I was just straight, didn't like to, touch anything, drugs especially. I was like way against all that stuff growing up with that. And so I'm seeing this vision, and I see myself, honestly, in a green uniform shirt. And then there was green and tan and green.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, wow, that looks like a sheriff uniform or something like that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why am I seeing this? And basically he's speaking in my heart. I go, well, this is what you're going to be doing. This is what I want you to do. And then he shows me a few other things, be leading an army. And then the last part of it was basically, political scene, like a stage and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, what is this, God? I'm like, all right, okay. Well, I was freaked out for a while, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any of those things.
Of course.
And that was something like, for a year, I just went on with my life and tried to keep going, but nothing would go right. And it just got to a point where I was like, fine, damn it, I'll do it, God. 9 months later, I graduated from the sheriff's department.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, man, I guess this is maybe the way I'm supposed to go. I'm still dragging my feet. So, obviously, God's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, oh, okay. So I was still dragging my feet 5 years into working in law enforcement. And then I'm like, well, I'm just going to go to school and get my degree and do something else. No, that didn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't up to me at this point. Years went by and everything else. I'm still in the sheriff's department, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just stick with it. I'm like, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I'm going to sit back and go, I'm done playing, dragging my feet game, and, I don't want to do this. I'm like, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And, years go by later, and all this stuff, all these mandates start coming out, and we're being attacked for just making a decision for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so basically it was like, what are you going to do at this point? So me and my wife, she's actually, she's on the chopping block for herself. She works for the city. And so we're about to both get pretty much fired if we don't do what we're supposed to be doing with the mandates. And when I hear, stuff like mandates, and I was like, okay, well, mandate, what is all this madness that what you're telling us we have to do? Is it a law? So we got really into it, and we started actually, being vocal about it. And one thing leads to another. August last year, people start contacting us. What do we do? How do we, get around this? What do we have? What can we do? So, my wife is Nune Gipson. I'm married to an Armenian woman, which is
let's go, dude.
It's amazing. Food's amazing. So I cook their barbecue. I know how to cook it really good.
I love it.
Make their Armenian coffee. So for myself, I'm half Latin. My mom's Mexican. My dad's American mutt.
Okay. Nice.
So pretty much, you just like, yeah, I did that DNA thing. I'm like, whoa, okay, I got everything.
Right. Yeah. Don't we all, man?
I know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'm trying to get back on track here. So all this goes on, and we're looking at stuff, and what do we do? So we start helping people. We start pulling everybody together for, what do we do? So can we do a lawsuit? Can we do something that, is going to stop the board of supervisors, city councils from, killing us from our jobs and making us take something that we definitely don't want in our body.
Right.
And well, what actually ended up happening is we started a lawsuit for LA County.
Oh, wow.
And so we brought a lot of people together.
Now, is this a lawsuit that is with just city employees?
No.
Or is this just everybody in a blanket?
Everybody in the blanket.
Okay.
So it's everybody in LA County.
Okay.
So they're whoever wants to join it, we brought them in.
Wow.
So I think the more people we have, the stronger, louder, the louder you are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty much what we started doing. And then the next part was, we have corrupted politicians, and they're overreaching and saying things that
Hit that bell, Sam. That's right. We have corrupt politicians.
Yep. Yep.
I always say this: if you go into politics and you have a salary of 80, 90 grand a year, but you come out multimillionaire, something's wrong.
Something's going on.
Something
exactly.
is wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it seems like you're very convicted. It seems like your faith and what you believe really drives you. And I respect that, because for me, I know in the recent months I've kind of renewed my faith, and conviction is strong. That's a real thing with people. And I think some people think it's a joke, and it really isn't. I mean, when you have something that's God-given on your heart, like you have in a dream, and I've experienced things like that in my life, and you feel called to do something and you ignore it. And it's like, the Lord will let you wander in the wilderness for a little bit, but he's going to get your attention. Yep. He'll do whatever he needs to take to get you.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's looking at his, I don't know if God doesn't really care about the time. It's all his timing, but it's like, come on. I know you got it, son. I've got faith in you. He's got more faith in us than we ever thought, we'd be having, Well,
and you when you talked about feeling like you saw this vision, and I remember I read this, because I've been doing these different Bible studies on this Bible app on my phone, and just personal stuff, right? Keep myself in line. But it's amazing how sometimes when we get those visions, or even read this, like if you saw what your future would look like, leaving your faith in your life in God's hands, you probably wouldn't believe it. Right. You wouldn't believe, like, whoa, I'm going to be there one day.
Right.
It's crazy, right? Because I think that too sometimes. I'm like, I want this to happen, this and that, but it's like, I need to let this go. Yeah. I need to let this go and just let my faith kind of take over and do what it's going to do.
Absolutely.
Because it's probably going to be 100 times better than I thought I could do on my own. And I remember this analogy somebody told me. It's like, there's this, it's like your father takes you into this toy store, and you reach up as high as you can as this little kid. And you grab the toy. He says, you can have any one. You grab it. You're like, yes, I got the best one. This is what I reached for.
Right.
But little did you know that while you're picking out yours, he reached to the top shelf. And he got you this big, massive toy that you'd never thought you could have. And he goes,
that's a good analogy.
Well, that's what you got, but here's what I have for you.
Right.
And those things, I think I would say maybe in all of our adult lives, you get some life under your belt. You experience highs, definitely some lows. And I think with you too, like absolutely. A lot of us, I think, Sam, we didn't grow up with a lot of money.
Yep.
It was a struggle, man.
Yep.
And our parents put us in private school because they wanted to give us the best.
Right.
But we didn't have a lot,
Right.
And seeing where you're coming from, and I think you said your family was homeless at one point,
Yeah, we were
right?
homeless for a time. Yeah. Actually.
Oh my God! And how old were you when that went down?
I think I was about. Man, I'm trying to remember. So long ago. I might have been 8.
Wow.
8 years old, around there.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Well, there's 5 of us. So it's me, my twin brother, my younger brother, and my 2 sisters. So there's 5 of us, and then my mom and dad are still.
And you guys were homeless.
Yeah. But at that time, it was being homeless. It was. You're a kid so young, and
you don't understand, right?
Your life's already not probably like most everyone else's.
Yeah.
And we were already accustomed to not having much. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, we're camping. This is cool. So when I get home, to the campground we were staying at in Bouquet Canyon.
Right.
And it was like, let's go catch a lizard. Let's go see if we can catch a fish, in the little stream.
Well, it's so beautiful, right? The innocence of kids.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think about that too when I was a kid. Gosh, I think we were in 2nd grade, Sam. But, you fill out, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's your favorite color, right? I remember I put, I want to be a police officer, favorite color red, and say, what's your favorite food? And I put hamburger helper.
And I brought it. Good, man.
Dude, I brought it home, and my mom was so embarrassed. She was so upset. She's like, how can you? I'm thinking, I'm a kid. I don't know. This is all we eat, We didn't have much. She's just like, let's throw some boxes of hamburger helper together.
Yep.
And I thought it was great, right?
Yep.
And to this day, I like hamburger helper.
Yeah, man.
It's the simplest thing, and people are like, oh, that's for, it's cheap, and it's not good for them. I'm like, look, man, this is all we had.
Same.
Food is food.
Same.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Exactly.
But as a kid, right? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just innocence. We go out and play. Cool. Let's eat some food. What were you going to say?
You just live your life. That's what I was going to say. You just live your life, and you're a child, and I wanted to talk about the irony of, your dad being, an alcoholic, and then you basically seeing that, and you're like,
oh, yeah.
I can't do that. My dad went through the same thing, and he just saw his dad, and he's like, this is what I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
And then you had this vision, completely sober, and you had this vision that basically, played out the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it just, that is so profound.
It's weird when you see your future and you kind of know what's going to happen, but you just don't know when.
Right.
And so it's like, all right, God, so when's that supposed to happen? And so it's always like you're always trying to figure something out.
Right.
And that was one of the things in my head. It's like, yeah, I get that. And well, my twin brother, he's younger than me by 1 minute. And he used to get a lot of visions and things himself. And I'm like, okay, can you help me on this one, brother?
Right.
Can you show me,
Right.
and he was like, well, but it was good because it was like you had your best friend with you the whole time, and whatever you can speak and talk about. I mean, well, basically when we talked, me and my twin brother, no one really understood what we were talking about because we didn't have to finish sentences and go that far into to explain it because we had, like-minded in that sense.
That bond, yeah.
So, but, he's passed away almost 6 years now.
Oh, sorry.
And, God says like, hey, you got this, and I'm going to take your brother, but you got this, right?
Right.
So I'm, we'll see him again eventually. Time is relative to us here,
Exactly.
and when I know about the time in heaven, it's not the same.
Very well said. I mean, you know what? It's interesting. God, the mystery of life, but the strength of having faith.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm relearning.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because I had a brother pass away in 2004. He was in a car accident. 17, he was 18.
Yeah.
But I've had these instances in my life. I've never shared this on here before, really with anybody, but I remember one of the last moments I had with him. And this has happened with 4 other people in my life that have unfortunately left this earth.
Right.
And I had the moment where you're sitting there talking to him, and something hit me in my head and said, enjoy this moment because you're never going to have it again.
Yeah.
And every time I had that, the person has ended up passing away within like a week or a few days. It's really interesting. You're like, whoa, man, what's going on?
We're not in that mindset where we're used to losing people. And it's, I always say losing or whatever, but then I always correct myself. It's like, well, I didn't really lose them because they're, in my mind, they're the ones. Those are the treasures in heaven.
Absolutely.
That we're going to be, seeing again. So I'm like, okay, so God says your treasures are here in heaven. I'm like, hey, he's not wrong.
Well, it's biblical, right? He who believes in me shall never die.
Yeah.
And it's all part of
it's true,
Right.
But dude, so you're, is that why I saw on here reading about you, dude, and you coming on? I mean, homelessness seems like it's a big issue for you.
It is. And
I don't know if
think we can do something about it.
Yeah, I don't want to say
Going into
issue, but
Congress.
something you want to tackle as you start your political career and go into Congress, right?
Right.
And that's a huge problem in California. And I don't want to say it's a touchy subject, but maybe it is. And
there's a lot going on with
it. You see all this money being put into these programs for homelessness, yet it's getting worse.
It's interesting because there's a lot of money going into these programs and nothing's going on.
Yeah.
So in how we, with our professions and what we've done in our lives is we don't look at it like, oh, the money, we just go at it. Where's the problem? Okay, let's go take care of it.
Right, we're problem solvers, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just one of the things that I believe instilled in us is if we see a problem, we want to take care of it. And for me, I'm like, okay, so there's money there. I know there's a surplus and a half going on right now here in California, and it's not being utilized. But it's not being utilized in any correct way at the moment, whatever they're using, because when you have homeless, you just become homeless because.
Exactly.
So there's financial things that could happen. There's alcoholism, there's drugs, there's mental illness, and those things they'll weigh down a family and they'll tear it apart. Mm-hmm. And if you're a mom or dad and you have a substance abuse addictiveness problem, your priority is not your family. Your priority is not your kids and yourself even. Your priority is to get that drug inside your body no matter what. Mm-hmm. And pretty much there where it lies, people become slaves and they cannot make decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
They can't do it. And as far as you guys know, I'm sure we all seen that same thing. And they're slaves to whomever has that drug. And there's fentanyl, there's coke, all that nasty stuff out there, and it's highly addictive. Yep. And people are, I'm never taking drugs myself, but I've seen it out there.
Yeah.
And I just can, wow, man, these guys will do anything to make this, to get it inside of them. And I remember I had one lady I had talked to out in the street, and she was an advocate, and she wanted to help people, get off the drugs and all that stuff. She's like, you know what? You can't leave them on the streets. They're going to die, right? And if you leave them on the streets, they're going to do whatever it takes, and and they can end up being hurt real bad, killed, taken advantage of, raped, all that stuff. She goes, I was in that same position, and this is when I was working patrol, and this lady goes, I made over $2 million in 1 year doing whatever it took, basically to get that drug into her. And that's a great motivator, but it's on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me to see that, we have to get these people off the streets. And if that means we have to take them off the streets and put them into programs, it's not kidnapping, because I'll tell you this, it's saving their lives. I just had a cousin die 6 months ago in a Hollywood encampment, one of those tents.
Oh,
they found her with she was dead with a crack pipe next to her, and it was cut with fentanyl.
Wow.
And we had lost track of her. We didn't know where she was at, and I lost a couple of cousins to overdoses.
Yeah. And you know what, man, it's I know for me too, like the homelessness, it's frustrating, right? And you can tell people are really frustrated, and you don't want to just kick people to the side. But you're thinking there's got to be a better way than what they're doing now.
Absolutely.
And then you look at the salaries of these people who are in charge of these programs. You're like, okay, so is it because if they fix this problem, that salary's gone? Or like, what are we doing here? Like, why is it like if you look at San Francisco, or even visited, I was there last year.
Wow.
It's
not the same.
Different. No.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there, and people are leaving San Francisco. And then I was up in Santa Monica a few weeks ago. And I'm just thinking, what is going on? Why are these tent encampments taking over everywhere on ridiculous. The beach?
Yep.
And you're trying to think, and like, there's got to be a way here. What is the politics behind this?
Why are they
don't want to
allowing that? First of all,
that's my question.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because it wasn't like that when we were growing up. It wasn't like that at all.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I can't understand is why do they want to destroy our cities? They want to destroy our county, and it's like, you want people to have rights, but you want a drug addict to have rights. Of course, everyone has rights. We all have basic human rights. But when those rights of their, what they're trying to do infringes on your family's rights, or your right to, just walk down the street and, be impeded or attacked, because they're way out of their mind.
Yeah.
It's when is it, obviously, I have children as well. I'm not going to let them out in the streets by themselves.
Yeah.
When they were younger and things like that. And I'm like, there's no way, because I know how much worse society has gotten.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because you leave your kids out there, man, there's some sicko out there who's going to start looking, oh, I can get that one, and it's sad to say, but we're living in that world now. Yeah. And we have to, and this is one of the reasons why I'm running for Congress, is to at least get somebody in there who can do something about it.
Right. The proper way.
The proper way. Create legislation.
Right.
And not be afraid to fight back. When I see evil, I'm like, those you guys are all on that side of evil, and I'm going to come after you.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just my mindset, and I can't stop myself now, because it's like I'm called to a higher calling, and this is what it is, and he wants me to do it, and this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, and it seems like it's such a, I don't know if it's a tough subject, but you bring it up, and it's like, well, you're insensitive, and you don't care about. No, I do. Mm-hmm. But what we're doing is not working.
Right.
Okay. Right. So I'm not saying I want to throw these people aside or their lives don't matter. Everyone's lives matter. Mm-hmm. I believe all life is precious. Mm-hmm. But we got to do something that's going to be better and to fix our community. Because that's what, personally, for me, in my opinion, I'm saying it's a breakdown of our community and the families and just people in general. And then you have politicians that say all this stuff, and they say all the pie in the sky, and they get things going, but nothing happens. And you're getting more money funneling in. It's like, dude, when is this corruption going to stop?
Exactly.
What's going on here?
Crazy.
Let's just keep throwing money at the problem, and instead of looking at like what is the actual, like what are the underlying issues of each of these populations that have this issue.
Right.
Like you're driving along the freeway and you see all these, like I see it every time I'm driving up to LA. I was with my dad the other weekend, and every time we drive up the 5, the 110, it's just like, what is going on? And then that there's money, like that's somewhere, somebody's getting paid. But where's it going?
Yeah, I honestly think that that's one of the reasons why a lot of people. I myself, I'm just one person running for this, for Congress, but there's a lot of people running for board of supervisors. There's Brian Smith. You have Natasha Serrano. She's running for assembly.
Let's go, Natasha.
We love her. Me and my wife met her, and we're like, wow, man, she is a woman of God. She's on fire. I was like, I was like, wow.
Have you met Cole Brocato?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cole's a nice.
He was on here too.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. Really, I mean, that guy is, man. I was like, you're just around him, and you're calm.
Yeah.
Yep. You're like, hey, man, you're like, cool, right? I was like, right on, bro. Right on.
And you're making a good point. And what I love seeing is that, it doesn't. You don't have to be. I don't want to say elderly, but most people, right? When you see politicians, you think of just older people,
Right.
right? And you're thinking, well, these people are on the tail end of their life. How are they kind of running a country, telling us what to do? When I got like 30, 40 years left here,
Right, yeah.
it almost seems like it's impenetrable. These people have money, they have power and influence, right? Well, what I'm loving to see is the moms and the dads going after school board. People like you, Natasha, Cole Brocato, where we're the average everyday person. We didn't come from much, but you know what? We're sick of it. Yeah. We want to see change. We actually want to be politicians for the people.
Right.
And that's what I feel like it's missing in politics today. And whether people lean Democrat or Republican, whatever it may be, it's almost like, I don't want to say choosing the better of two evils, but man, it seems like so many empty promises have been happening. And how do we change that? How do you get it to where a politician isn't going to use a race or religion to get them where they want to go and then forget about them?
Right, and that's what we've been seeing. My opponent is Adam Schiff, and it's just what the stuff that we've been seeing for the last 2-3 years with him, and it's amazing. Like, he's been in politics, I'd say, for over 20 years, and especially the district where I'm running for. Where's the change? Where's that change that he promised?
Yeah,
and most politicians, I think. There weren't even in their first running and anything else. It wasn't just because they're running. This is a career for them.
Right.
And this is something that, they learned and they spun their web and now they have all this power. And we talked about it before.
Right.
When you get into politics and you're doing your thing as whatever, the pay is going to be the pay, whatever it is. But then they come out with, multimillionaires.
It's incredible. It's so incredible.
So,
there's this, there's a
take advantage much.
Yeah, I want to say, was it you, Sam, or I think Jordan? Someone was saying there's I think a Reddit feed where they follow Nancy Pelosi's stock picks.
I think Jordan mentioned that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, someone's really smart there because she's always winning. Yeah. Always winning.
I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
It's ironic, right? Ironic.
Like, what happened to the bull train your husband was supposed to get done? It didn't even happen. You got all multi-millions of dollars, if not billions. Come on.
Right.
Yeah. Well, bullet train to their bank, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Well, and so being a law enforcement officer, you have seen the rise in crime.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And I know that's something that you want to tackle, and it has to be something that's dear to you because you've been in law enforcement for so long, and I hate to say, it's sad to see the state of affairs of this country. We need our police. We need to support our police, and we talked about this before, but it doesn't matter what career you're in. You're going to have idiots. You're going to have people who are breaking the rules, if not breaking the law, and being idiots.
There's all one thing in common with all that.
What's that?
They're people.
Still humans, man.
They're humans, right?
Gosh.
We all have that capacity.
Yeah, and I hate that, our society, or at least mainstream media, is pegging all law enforcement as the bad guys. It's no. Yeah. We need law and order. You have to have it. Do you want a lawless country? It is not going to work. What is it? One state or somewhere is sending in... welfare, not welfare.
Ambassadors.
Ambassadors.
That's here.
Social workers.
Social workers,
Right.
And I'm thinking, and they're saying they're going to send domestic violence, right?
Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, I always remember, that's one of the most sketchy calls you can go on.
Exactly.
You're going to send a social worker?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like this, come on, man.
Right.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I'm thinking... You guys don't.
Easy.
Yeah, it's like people don't understand the training and the discipline and the things that our law enforcement have to go through in order to handle these situations.
Right.
It's
every
it's
other
so,
day.
Yeah, it's so much. It's so much. It's so different than just the average. And it's not downplaying a normal job, working in an office or working from home. But you're talking about men and women who are going to someone's worst day all the time.
Yeah.
You're always dealing with something. And I'm thinking, you pull out law enforcement. Okay, the people are yelling for this. What are you going to do when you need help? And you call law enforcement. I saw it with the riots, right? The people are starting, they're going anti whoever it was, right? They're against all this. Next thing you know, they're getting beat up. Where's the police? I thought you didn't want the police.
Who's going to answer that phone?
Come on.
No one's going to answer your call. No one's going to show up.
Yeah.
They're about to board of supervisors. They're about to fire 4,200 deputies.
What?
Yeah.
No,
just
that
imagine.
is so bad.
So is this just something that I believe is some more than it is, what they're saying it is, because these guys they have an agenda. as far as
Absolutely.
I'm concerned. There's an
Always.
agenda here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And with this agenda is like, okay, you got rid of police officers now. What else is next? How do you take care of your city or county? Well, if they're making what Biden just made some signing signature to the UN, basically giving our sovereignty over to the UN. So
That's
that means
insane.
if we don't have law enforcement, who comes in?
Well, and I was
It's called
gonna-
blue hats.
Yeah. Well,
right?
here's my thing, right? Now let's put our tinfoil hats on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we find an excuse to get rid of law enforcement.
Right.
Okay. Now, does not I've heard it said multiple times by this current government, a one world order. Does that not leave room for a one world order to come in? Well, they can't govern themselves. There's no law and order. We're going to have to do it for them.
Right.
Now that's tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I'd say maybe it was tinfoil hat stuff. And maybe 5 years ago, they'd have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. Maybe not so much.
It's starting to be true. Yeah. Tinfoil hat stuff has a lot of truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's always a little truth in it, right?
Right, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day. It's like, was it? It was like conspiracy theories, and then under it said all came true.
Wow.
Yeah,
It all happened. I was like,
that.
wait, what?
I've seen that. Yeah.
And then you look, they put a list. I'm like, oh wow, they're right. That all happened. And everyone thought, oh, you're crazy. You're a nutcase. That stuff will never happen. It's not true. The next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, all this stuff actually did happen.
Exactly.
Let me pull out the list here.
exactly.
That happened. That happened.
Right, right.
You know, so if that is going to happen, is that still considered
right?
conspiracy theory?
Yeah, but
I'm not
everything
sure.
we
Right,
see,
right,
so.
and these kind of like studies that I've read, it's if you want like a program to work, it's not taking money away, it's putting more training in, getting them more
Right.
funding. How does taking money away help our police officers?
Doesn't.
It doesn't.
At all.
You got to put more training in, more
That's
things.
what
for
they've
them.
been asking for. They've been asking for more training, and you guys need to train them more, and all this other. Well, how are we supposed to train when you keep taking our ability and our
Right.
funds away
Right.
to provide that training?
Yeah.
And then here's the other one. When even going beyond that is one of the other things that's destroying our country is our borders right now. They're wide open. So
I
Yep.
know.
mix that with why we have so much crime, why we have so much drugs and all those homeless, because that border is wide open. So I think we're getting about 18,000 people a day, or
See,
a month or something like that.
and you know
Some
what's-
crazy number.
Yeah, and you know what happens? We pay for that in our taxes.
Yeah, it's a
our
soft
taxes go up.
invasion.
I'm like, dude, I'm all for people making a better life, but you got to do it the legal way.
Exactly.
Do it the right way.
Right.
I mean, come on. And the one thing that really irritated me this week is we're in, was it baby formula shortage?
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
another one.
We're in a
Right?
huge
Yes,
inflation,
thanks for
right?
bringing
Yeah,
that
we're
up.
going to give, was it 40 billion or 40 million?
40 billion.
40 billion to
$40
Ukraine.
billion dollars.
Jesus.
So why not take care of your people first, especially the mothers who need formula for their children? That's the future of the United States of America.
Exactly.
Those are our people.
The
What's the
press
problem?
secretary? I think it was her last day, and basically she's saying, "Well, if you can't," they're asking her, Jen Psaki or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're asking her, "Well, if you can't get it, what do you do?" Oh, contact your doctor. Yeah.
We'll circle back.
That's it.
Right.
right. Circle back on that one.
But
Great
these-
answer.
These things amaze me. It's like what happened to taking care of your people first and ensuring the United States is strong and stable. I don't care what party you are. Like,
Right. Same
because
here.
I've always been raised like, I came from a very strong faith-based home, and it was always, no matter who gets in and who is elected, you pray for them. You want them
Well,
to
you have
succeed.
to.
You want them to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're talking about the future of the United States, right?
Right.
But it seems like it's so, if you're not for me, you're against me. You don't believe in this, you're a POS. You don't know what you're talking about. We need to silence you.
Yeah, and we need to get rid of you, and it has to happen now. And that's pretty much what we've been seeing. What I've been seeing is if you don't fall in line with that ideology, which is a small percentage of the rest of the United States, but the social media, and you got other news. I call them propaganda channels.
Yeah.
Straight
that's
up.
Pretty accurate.
They're shoving this stuff down our throats and our children's throats, with schools and CRT and all this. It's like, I honestly don't understand, because we did not grow up this way.
No, we did not.
And we're able to, even, from where I came from, I was still able, and, living in the United States, I was still able to be, get a great job, great career, and, be a small business owner as well. And, come up from something I would have never, where I live now, I would have never thought I could live in an area like that because I was so damn poor. It was like, oh, that's where the rich people live, right? And I was like, oh, that's never going to happen. But you can do those. Well, we still can. We still have that time to do those things in this country to make something for yourself. My wife's an immigrant from Armenia. She came here legally with her whole family.
Yeah.
And it was something like for them, it was like, wow, this is happening. We're doing this. We're making this move. And, for us living here, growing up here, we take a lot of our freedoms for granted.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And you look at immigrants, man, they're some of the hardest working people out there.
Hustlers.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, that's just, they're making it happen. Exactly. And I got nothing but respect for that.
Yeah. And that's the thing is you say, well, I'm not for borders, we need control. The next thing you know, well, you're racist. You're against people and human rights. I'm not against human rights, but I'm also for protecting the United States of America and our people. I come from a military home. I know what the sacrifice is that our military does. My family went through it.
Yep.
So what's wrong with going the legal way? That's all I'm saying. Exactly. I'm not shunning people out. But come on, we got to take care of our people because, like you said, it's a soft invasion. You know how many terrorists I read about the other day? What do you call? I don't know what you call them, the top 10 FBI, but the top. So they found some high level terrorists coming through Mexico.
We're in for it, man. I'm telling you, we are in for it.
I think people have a very false sense of security right now, and they have no idea the amount of trouble we could be in the near future. And it's very serious because one day,
and take a step further, we are in deep trouble.
My
not could we are.
Yeah, my father even said this, man, and he was a Green Beret for 20 plus years. Solid man.
Amen,
solid.
brother.
He's a man of God. He's stuck by my side through a lot of highs and a lot of mess ups, but and he believes that, he's like, I think one day we're going to wake up in this country and everything will be forever changed. It will not be the same.
Yep.
And I was like, dang, dude, that's heavy stuff.
It is. It's completely heavy, but it's a reality that people, they're stuck in their TV or their phone and all the other stuff they got going on. How do we get people out of there? And basically what has to happen is the world, our nation has to kind of turn on topsy on its head. And they're going to go, oh, what's going on? I'm all, hey, now you guys are awake. Okay. Yeah. And this kind of leads it back to what I believe God is doing. A lot of times with Israel back in those old days is when they had everything. They're all living high on the hog and, then they eat, pork or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's I don't think they eat hog.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
And it had to come out that way. It just had to. Yeah. And what ended up happening, they started sinning and they started, just becoming unraveled. Yeah. And God's like, okay, well, this is going to happen. And those were prophets would come in and they start telling them what's going to happen. And what they do? They kill the prophets. Yeah. Right. And they didn't want to hear it. Right. But he's like, well, you're killing my prophets and you guys are still not listening. All right. Well, you guys are going to get invaded or this is going to happen. Yeah. And then when all that stuff happened, they fell straight down on their knees and they said they were sorry and all these things. And this is basically what we're looking at here in the United States, especially California. I mean, we thought Vegas was Sin City. I think it's just grew. The area is a lot larger now. It's Sin State.
Yeah, I remember my dad told me a while ago. He was like, if the Lord doesn't judge this country or fix something, it makes Sodom and Gomorrah look like child's play.
Yeah, and I think it is.
Dang, wow, for you people that are unbiblical, look up Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, you might like it too much. I don't know. Anyways. Wild.
I think we're already there, man.
Yeah. Totally. But you brought up a good point, though, about the parents, because I know you're definitely about parental rights.
Absolutely.
Right. And what I can see is, our question is, how are these teachers going to hide what they're teaching our children and not tell the parents? Well, or even there was one where they were, I don't know, it's changing not only his sexual identity, but changing his gender identity. And the teacher was convincing him not to tell his parents. And he told his parents and they were livid.
Jesus.
Just imagine.
And I'm like, wow, how can you do that?
Wow. Yeah.
How can you do that? And my thought is why are we taking the innocence of our children away right now? There's no reason for them to worry about that right now. Let them be kids, man.
Disney's doing it.
And they're paying the price.
Oh, yes, they are.
And here's the thing. I don't care what you believe, who you love, or what you want to do. But it's how much do we have to be involved with that? Why is that being forced on me? Why is that going to be forced on my niece and nephew?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can do what you want. I'm not one to judge anybody. I'm not. I will not cast the first stone because I have my own problems.
Yeah, that's why we're in the positions we're in. It's like, why we're not going to sit there and judge you, but don't come after our kids.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are you forcing it? Why does this have to happen? So it's almost like I could see it's something you're definitely about. Right. The parental rights. How do we tackle that? What's something you want to do in Congress to?
Well, that has to go into the federal level where we have to look at and show people you cannot touch the kids like that. You cannot be there. So there have to be federal legislation, programs, and enforcement of those programs, because we have to make sure that our kids are not being groomed to the pedophiles of this world. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it was when we were kids and stuff like that. It has gone up like huge. The numbers have jumped. Yeah. Our crime rate is through the roof, and we have sex crimes going all over the place. We have sex trafficking. It's amazing because a lot of it is the youth, the kids. Yeah, and that's so what sad. That's our next generation and generations to come. And this is how our government is taking care of them. To setting them up. It's setting them up for destruction.
Oh, absolutely.
And suicide rates are, that's who's killing themselves as well. So, I mean, why are we allowing all this stuff to happen? A lot of us have gotten up, with what you guys are doing. I applaud you guys. Mm-hmm. This is bringing out truth. Truth needs to come out. And I think that was one of the things that people wanted to see is truth. Well, God, when's truth going to come out? When are we going to see all this stuff start coming out? And it comes out on God's time, but it's coming out. And a lot of people are, wow, this is happening. But at the same time, we're seeing all this other stuff. He knows, right? Yeah. And it's his timing, and we wish it was faster, but you have to, he's, like you were saying, he's picking you something up from the top shelf, and he's going to show you, this is what I got for you.
Isn't that so hard, though? I struggle with it. Yeah. Yes, patience. Sometimes for me,
that's hard.
It's so difficult. And I've been going through stuff in my own family and private life. I'm just like, man, can we just get this fixed like now? Right. Please.
I'm tired of this.
Can we figure this out?
Yeah. But there's come on.
Yeah, but it's interesting too, and I read the other day about, how the Lord uses the wilderness to teach people a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
To teach them something, to show them.
That's a good one.
Even when you're in that in-between stage, when you feel like you're alone, you're not. There's something that the Lord wants to teach you and show you.
If you were alone, you'd be dead, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, undead.
Yeah, and but it's so hard for me feeling like you're in that wilderness or the middle, and you're just like, can you just do something now? Come on. But then there's so many times I realize and look back on my adult life, and you realize, like, you know what? I could see why this didn't happen at that time. Right. I can see why this relationship ended. I can see why I didn't get this job, because it lined me up for everything that I have now. And I learned some lessons the easy way. Kind of like you watch people riot, but I've also unfortunately had to learn some lessons.
We've all been there, bro.
Oh yeah. And you make those decisions, you're like, God, why'd I do that?
Yeah. How perfect are we? No, we're human. Just and that's like why the next person.
Yeah, I'm not here to judge. Yeah. I accept everyone. I love it. I love talking to people. I have friends on here that are gay. Brian came on here. I love them to death. We grew up together. Had him on here. We just talked. It's like I'm accepting everyone, but it's like where we're going right now and what you're forcing on people, to me, is too much.
Right.
It really is. It's how do you stop the overreach where it's almost like they want to take away the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
There's things they're trying to take away, and you're like, wait, what?
Where's your protection now?
Yeah, it goes to that, and it's just like that. And then
wait. Criminals aren't, they have to follow the law too, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. So.
Yeah, we'll outlaw the weapons. The criminals won't get them. Right. You're like, come on. Like, you get out of here, dude. Exactly. And then, like, the whole freedom is, you just, like, it's almost like it's a full breakdown of all our rights.
Right.
And that's why, again, I love seeing that you're running for Congress, and we have Cole, we have Natasha, and all these people, and the parents going to school boards. The power is with the people, and I think people have forgotten that.
Yeah.
The power is absolutely with the people. You need to get out and vote. You need to get your voice heard.
Right.
Don't think that just because, you're middle class or lower class, you don't have a voice. Guess what? We all grew up with nothing in this room.
Yep.
Okay? And we made something ourselves. Yeah. You can do it. You have to get out there.
Yeah, if you don't, then you're part of the problem. And if you're not, you're going to sit back on the couch. Oh, well, I'm not going to vote this time, or voting doesn't do anything. Well, they got you.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, is when people give up and they say, well, you know what? I mean, they're going to cheat anyway. Well, let that let that not stop you from using your rights. Because if you give up your rights, then you gave them up.
Right. The possibility of that is always there. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
We can't overlook that. We can't give it to just chance and all this stuff. No, we have to fight for them, and we have to keep at it. Because if we don't stop, if we stop, then we're done. Then it's our fault, and then we're like, oh, well, here, take it. You know, I don't care what state you go into or whatever state you leave from California to go to another state, they're going to come get you there too.
Exactly.
You know, so it's just a matter of time.
One thing we always like, one thing that we're mentioning right now is conversations. We don't do that enough. And I think that's what we do on Let's Go podcast. And then also that's what you're trying to do right now, you know, running for Congress. Right. And then I think the other conversation is us going to the polls and having that, you know, discussion.
Hit that bell, son.
Right,
Let's
bro.
go.
Right, bro. Having that discussion, man. Yeah, that's how we, you know, show our voice. When we go to the polls, when we, you know, vote and, you know, speak our minds. That's where we do it.
Amen, brother. Yeah, have to do it.
The hard part is with the conversation is almost like people don't want to have the hard conversation because the first thing, I'm offended.
Exactly.
No,
Right.
Look, dude, I'm not trying to offend you. Okay, I'm going to hear you out.
Yep.
You can hear me out because you know what? You might change my mind.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll learn something from you. Maybe you'll learn something from me. I don't know.
But that's the problem, Tim.
Yeah.
Like the problem is if your mind is changed, then your world shatters. You know, because what do I know? What do I know? If you're able to change my mind, then whatever I've been thinking these past I don't know how many years, you know, was a lie.
Yeah, what am I supposed to believe now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, you shouldn't go that far. You should use that as an opportunity, you know, to learn from whatever you're doing and to move forward. You know, if it convicts you, then maybe that's a good thing.
Right.
Right.
Right. It's like why does everybody jump to that's offensive or you're racist or you're sexist? It's like, no, I'm just having a conversation with you.
Well,
Let's
that's
talk about it.
What they've been taught. It's a defense mechanism for them not to, you know, get, you know, that other information, you know, that may be, you know, helpful to them, but it's a straight up defense mechanism. It's I'm not.
Yep.
I cut you off. You know,
Right.
It's like, don't cut me off. Just listen for a second. You know, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. You know, I'm running for the people. That's my thing. So when someone asks me, well, what party are you? I'm for the people.
Right.
You know, so what is you know, we our government here, we're in a republic, right?
Right.
And it's republic means that this is a country that votes as a people. You know, we're not sitting here going, well, the king or this person or whoever, they're going to make the decisions for us. The people make the decision.
Yes.
And if you're running for the people and that's who you are, they're going to like, oh, well, you know what? This guy is actually, you know, he wants to help us. And that's exactly what I want to do. I'm not sitting here and telling people I'm going to take advantage of it. No, I don't care. You know, I could be retired in the next few months and go fishing and not care. But I care.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You know, there's something you actually brought up that just reminded me. I think it was 2 years ago. I was reading an article. I can't remember which news I was looking at. But it said the highest sex trafficking day of the year is Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's one of them.
I could not believe it. I was like, what? So why is it? I'm thinking, well, can't the Super Bowl kind of help tackle some of this? Don't they have a lot of money? Like, come on, guys. Like, we know this is bad. Like, you know.
Don't forget the World Cup, too, because that's
Yeah.
that one, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing. I've been seeing all these like stings that kind of come out in the news and stuff. I think there was one in Vegas. Oh man, they had a list of like 20 dudes, teachers, unfortunately police. There was a firefighter. There was like, dude, all wide range. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like, come on.
Like you
It
said
seems like it's
before,
such a. It seems like it's almost like a cancer or another. That's in a pandemic in itself.
Well, look at
It's
what
crazy.
we have information, and our internet is, you know, it's brought us into a global area where people can get a hold of other people from other countries, other states, you know, in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And so these crime syndicates and these pedophiles, people on the, you know, these traffickers, you know, they're organized, you know, and that's why they've been getting away with it for so long. And that's why our government is so easily corruptible, because they have access to each other, and there's video, and say this person went into Congress and he was a good person at the time, but, you know, he screwed up, and maybe he wasn't, you know, for the people at that time, but he got caught, he got compromised, you know, and that's one of the things that that they'll get you.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be of a strong will and not fall into those traps, and know, and, you know, be a man of woman of faith or God, whatever. And those are, you know, those are your protections in all this stuff. Because if you don't have it, then what do you got? they're gonna come after you.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. What do you think about the inflation we got going on, man?
Oh gosh,
Isn't this insane right now?
you guys like paying high tech gas prices?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love it, man.
Wait. We're complaining about it.
I love it.
Right? You know what? Go buy an electric car.
Right.
Just
Right.
$50,000, $70,000.
Yeah.
Don't even question me. Just go buy it.
Well, that's crazy, right? What middle to lower class family is going to be able to afford an EV vehicle?
Nope.
They can't. And that's why I keep saying, I'm like,
Expensive.
this kind of fires me up is I feel like the middle and lower classes are just being demolished right now.
Completely.
They're not caring about, and I want to shake people like, do you realize your government doesn't care about you right now?
That's the real pandemic.
Yeah.
Sorry, pandemic, whatever. That's the real one.
And it's just sad. People are suffering. I'm knowing people that are leaving the state, or they're having to get more jobs, or they're trying to figure out, instead of having 2 cars, 1, because gas prices are so high.
Right.
They can barely afford to make fuel to get to work and home. And what's the administration doing? They're giving $40 billion to Ukraine right now.
No, yeah. They could just print more, right?
It's crazy.
That's kind of where we're at.
Just print some more.
Print some more.
Just make more money.
How much more we got? No, just another 40 billion is fine. And it's absurd to think that, a lot of people are like, no, that's exactly what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you guys are like magic makers. Like, just print up money. It's that easy.
Well,
and that's why we got inflation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it keeps going up. Our dollar's worth, a lot less than it is a year ago. Right. And so things are changing because there's no consequences for them. And, they're sitting there. Obviously, someone's getting paid. Right.
Yeah.
And if they're getting paid, how much are they getting paid? And, are we going to stop them? That's the million. I'm sorry, I'd say million, but that's nothing much now anymore. I'd say $1 billion question. Right. We have to do something about it, because if we continue to let these guys go unchecked, and what are they going to do next? So, like you said before, there goes our firearms. They're going to come take. I'm waiting for that day, and when they get that, firearms are illegal now. I'm like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah, what?
You were in the wrong country for that, because people are not going to give it up.
No, there's a great quote from World War II. Was it World War II? Oh yeah, I think
Japanese.
So. Yeah. It was a general, and they asked, "Are you gonna attack America?" And he was saying, "There's more guns than there are blades of grass. There's no way." I was like, "My man knows, dude."
That's what's up. Yeah.
I'd say now that is probably less true, because there's actually more firearms here now than there has ever been legally. The ones that I'd say legally, people purchase legally and responsible. I'm a firearms instructor myself, and I teach all of that stuff. And people want to learn. They're like, "Hey, can you teach me how to defend my house if someone breaks in?" I do that too.
Right.
And what do you? I mean, people you would have never thought. Like, wow, I didn't know you guys even cared about firearms or anything like that. But it's necessary, because we're going down that rabbit hole, and it's not a small one. This one's got it's slick with oil, and we're flying down that thing.
It's greased up, dude. We're sliding at 100 miles an hour.
And be prepared.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. People, just get your stuff ready. Do what you need to do to defend your homes and your family. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to people who are in your neighborhood. I'm more than sure there's a few of your neighbors out there who do have, ability to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And we have to just, start thinking like that. But it may have to get worse before all this gets better.
Do you have any rallies or events coming up that people can go to and meet you? I know there's one coming in Ventura with Cole Brocado, that festival.
Right. I think we may be going to that, but my main focus right now is getting my people, my team on the street.
Gotcha.
Passing out our information, canvassing, making the walks. Because all those things were good. So we don't really have anything like that, but you can always reach out to our email or website and get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to talk to people.
What's your website?
Our website, let's see, I have to make sure I have it right. It's Patrick Lee Gipson for Congress.com. So it's all spelled out. There's no numbers, like I probably should have.
Yeah.
But my law enforcement head comes in. Oh no, you have to spell everything out.
It's got to be good at the form, dude. Yeah.
Gipson with a P. Yes.
Right, Gipson with a P. So GIPSON for Patrick Lee Gipson for Congress.com. We have donate. You can donate to our campaign, and donating means your time. Volunteer if you want to come help us do calls and phone banking, text, and all the other stuff. We have all of that stuff, and there's not just me. If you are out of my district, and I'll tell you, my district is District 30 for Congress. It's Glendale, Burbank, Sun Valley, Tahunga, Shadow Hills, Sun Valley. Let's see, Hollywood, West Hollywood, Los Feliz. I think Silver Lake and a little bit of Echo Park, Montrose. So it's a pretty good swath down in the county, but it's all in LA County.
Okay.
So, get out, if you want change, then contact us.
Yeah,
We're more than happy to, do all that stuff. Find us on Instagram, Patrick Gipson for Congress. You can get us on Twitter. We just started that not too long ago, but it's interesting. I've never been a person who was tweeting or anything like that, but now that's happening. I'm like, okay, wow. I'm like, so it's a full circus right now that we've been involved with this political stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
It's like, wow. I mean, but you know what? We're getting a lot of steam going on, and we're moving, and it's exciting. So I'm like, hey, bring it on. Let's do it.
What do you think is the hardest part running for Congress? Because I'm not
Exactly.
kind of, I would say informed, but I don't know how this political thing goes. I mean, you just, all right, I'm going to do this.
Well, imagine, just check this out. You're like with what you guys are doing, you already have like a base, you already have a mindset.
Yeah.
You already have a direction that you're going. And basically you just get that and you start promoting it on, social media and wherever else. And it's just getting in touch with people. Who are like-minded, and there's a lot of us now, more than ever, and that's how you start it. And obviously fill out the paperwork, and there's a lot of all that stuff. We know about paperwork all day long.
Gosh,
and so
yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
but that's what it is. It's you have to be responsible with your paperwork, with all your finances. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who've ran campaigns, and they're frauding all that stuff too. So. We have to make sure that whoever we, end up picking as your candidate, you're going to be, is that guy trustworthy? Is that woman trustworthy? Do you got some discernment in you to go, I don't know, man, something's itching me on this person. So I don't know. I gotta, like when you meet somebody like Cole Bricado or, Natasha or myself, you're like, wow, genuine people. Yes, we are. And I can say that all day long. We're what they call salt of the earth because we are salt of the earth.
Baby, let's go.
And if we didn't have people like us, we'd be living in a mundane world,
right?
And we're like, okay, have a beer or two, relax. That's okay.
Right. I never really thought about like the like how you set that up, and that it's just basically networking, a ton of networking and marketing. Yeah. Right. You're just getting the word out there. Well, first starting and building. Like your network and the people that, that you see eye to eye with, and then just saying, hey, like, what are we going to do to make things better? Right. For everybody, not just for us, but for everybody else around us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then putting the word out there.
That's it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's not as hard as we would think, but coming from our backgrounds, growing up poor, I was like, oh, you can't be that. You can't do that because
Oh yeah.
No. And we're like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So if you're out there thinking you can't make that change and you don't have it in you to do it, bull, you can do it.
I love
you
it.
Come from any section of society, poor as can be. You can be homeless, and you can go to Congress. You can go to Senate, wherever. It's not impossible.
Well, it's a good point, and I think people forget that, and that's one of the beautiful things about living in the United States.
Right,
is you can absolutely be anything that you want to be. How bad do you want it?
Yep, absolutely.
How bad do you want it? And it's amazing the freedoms that we have, and I think people forget that.
Yeah.
Because they're slowly being taken away. Mm-hmm. And that's a little scary, and that's why I love seeing the everyday person getting in there and trying their best.
Yeah. That's what it takes.
Give it a shot. You have no idea what can happen. You have no clue.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I like that.
It'd be so, well, okay. So let's talk about that real quick. Somebody gets elected into Congress. You do. What's the next move? You have to move out to DC. I mean, how does that work?
Well, from what I'm experiencing and learning, through all this whole thing, Congress isn't 24/7, and it's not like a 9-to-5 job. You're out there Monday through Friday. They only get together for about maybe 4 or 5 months out of the year. And you're like, wow, what a job,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of research that's involved with that. It's creating legislation. It's bringing things to the table to be voted on, to get into so it's a law. Yeah. So there's a lot of committees and things like that. So that's how that all runs, and it's a process. But if you are, you're doing it, you're hitting it hard, you can make a lot of change. If you sit back, and there's other people who probably went through Congress and they just sat there like, oh, yes, no, yes, no.
Right.
Are you going to make anything? Are you going to do anything? You have to. If that's the next stage. So when I myself and others get into that next stage, it's like, well, the work is just beginning. This part, it was great. But now we really have to put our feet down, and we have to put pen to paper, and we have to go out and meet people, and we have to change things. Yeah. And again, talking to people, and that's key. I don't care what party you're on. I'm still going to talk to you. I'm still going to say, hey, let's try this. Why aren't you doing this? Doesn't make sense to me. So what's really going on? If you're not going to be truthful on that matter, we're going to call you to the carpet. It's like, hey, what's really going on with you? So what's this and what's this? We all have to make sure that we have the investigative techniques and the right questions, and the people who are would be working for me, and we all have to be together, and that's the spearhead. That makes changes. That's what we have to do.
Right.
Oh man, dude. Yeah. When is election?
June 7th is the primary. So people getting out there and voting. If you're not registered, it's really easy. lavote.org, I believe, and register, because there's a lot of people out there who don't want to vote because I'm not going to make a difference. You are making a difference.
I love that you said that. Absolutely.
You are the difference.
Your voice needs to be heard.
Absolutely, and your voice is your vote.
Yeah.
And if a lot of you get together, it's a loud voice.
Oh my man,
that's right.
I like it, dude. Well, hey, dude, we got some questions here for you.
Absolutely.
We go around. We just kind of end the podcast with this in this way. It's from Poddex. It's just a little icebreaker to end the time and have a little fun. So
do it.
If you could start your career over, what would you do differently?
Career in law enforcement?
Yeah.
Wow.
Big one.
Oh my gosh! If I could do it over again, sheesh. I'd probably get more into the medical aspect of things, and maybe not hurt myself with things. Just be more aware of not hurting my body, because as you get older, you can't do certain things. I would have liked to probably have done special teams and things like that. SEB, Special Enforcement Bureau. I would have loved to do all that stuff. I think if what I got, this just sounds fun and all that stuff. It's exciting. Like I said, we run to stuff. We don't run away from it.
Oh, yeah.
And other things as well. I probably would have wanted to get a lot more into probably the child crimes, sex crimes, and stuff like that. I think that, that would have been something that, people probably don't really pay a lot of attention to, but I think it's completely necessary to have more people involved in that.
I like it, my man.
I like that. Yeah.
No regrets, but
yeah. No, but I feel you, dude.
So,
I mean, for me, at least in my career starting out, I would have worked less. I always kept picking up overtime. More money, more money. And then you realize, like, dude, this is not the answer.
More problems.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I've lost relationships and all this stuff. It's like, it's finding that
sleep.
For one, sleep. But it's like the fine balance of your work life to your private life, your home life, right? Because one's going to suffer. Yeah. How do you find? I mean, for me, it took a while to really figure out that balance.
Yeah. Well, you don't think about that, when you're young. What you think about is basically just, I need to get my foot in there and just dive, like get my entire body in there and just go. So I mean, picking up shifts is what you do. But yeah, that would be same. I worked a ton, and I'm in healthcare management. So, I mean, I feel like we all kind of, when we're first getting into our careers, we kind of just, we do sacrifice, and we're
Maybe
also
not for the right reasons, too.
Right. And we're all over the place too. Like I was all over the place in college. So I think I would have focused like directly on healthcare management and, developing, processes to help us get better healthcare.
I can do that now.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So just go right into it. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
So I think you're the next person to be running, so.
Hey, it's a platform. We got a platform.
Happen, man. I'm going to tell you right here that you got the platform.
There it is.
Ideas are in there.
Exactly.
Hey, people need you, man. I'm telling you.
I like
Yes.
that. I like
Yes.
Sam for president.
Passionate about healthcare, baby.
2045 or whatever it is.
25.
Make me your secretary, dude.
Hey, baby, come on in.
All right, last question. If you could be anybody in this world, who would you be?
Oh, wow. Anybody in this world?
I got mine. I already know mine, dude.
Oh, sheesh.
I already know mine.
That's a tough question.
Can I tell you mine?
Yeah,
Please.
go.
I want to know what it is.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I love that guy, man. He's crazy.
Raising Arizona.
Yeah,
That's the first time I
man.
saw him in there, and he cracked me up. He was just, okay. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And, man, who would I? Sheesh, I don't even know.
That's hard.
God.
That is
It's an
hard.
interesting one, huh?
Yeah, man.
Did Nicolas Cage or Brad Pitt, dude?
Yeah, right.
Sheesh. My gosh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Somebody who's rugged and got stuff done. Maybe, I don't know, Daniel Boone or, Davy Crockett or something.
Dude, you're going way old school. I
yeah.
love George Washington.
Yeah.
He crossed the frozen river on Christmas Eve, dude.
I just would rather have better teeth, keep my teeth or
You don't want
something
the splinters in your mouth, dude?
No, my tongue can't take it anymore. Great man. That's probably one of
Can you imagine being Daniel Boone those early days here? That must have been just wild.
Those guys were, frontiersmen and
Oh,
they changed
man.
a lot of stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
David Crockett, but they're both politicians as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sam?
I don't know why this came to my head, but he's a bad man, Mike Tyson. A bad man. And he has such a platform now.
does.
He's getting...
He changed his life for
He
the better.
did. He did, man.
I actually liked the guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
scared me when I was younger, of course.
Right.
But
He had a hard life growing up, so he scared everybody. Yeah, man. I mean,
You know what?
yeah.
So many people took advantage of him and his success.
oh, my God. Yeah.
And you could see you could tell this guy has a heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
learned.
got a big, and I think he didn't know, and people took advantage of that. That hurt him. It hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you trust after that?
Right.
Taking
Right,
millions
yeah.
and stuff. But,
Exactly.
Again, America, we all love a redemption story.
Exactly.
He went down dark roads. He paid his time. He paid his debt. He made some mistakes. But, dude, the guy turned his life around.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
doing good now.
Yeah, baby.
We
I
have
love it.
respect for people like that.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause they don't give
Yeah.
up.
No.
That's the whole thing.
No, that's what I try to tell people. Look, you're going to fall. You're going to fail.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen. You're like,
Yeah.
don't quit.
That's
Don't
one of
give
the
up.
things
Right.
we tell our kids.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna fall. It's gonna be hard, but don't stop.
No. There's always, any day above the dirt's a good day, and it's a chance to make a new life and make an impact in this world.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Patrick Lee Gipson.
Yes, sir.
Gipson,
That's
baby.
me.
Is it Gipson or Hey, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on this podcast. I'm excited for your future, dude. I really appreciate the encouraging words that you said. I'm really excited that you're running for Congress. We need more people like you.
Thank you.
And Cole and Natasha and the others that are running for what they're going for. And I'm happy for you, man. And I'm so stoked that we got to meet you and have you on here. Honestly, it's an honor, dude. And I wish you the best.
Same here, guys.
We'll be out there.
Seriously.
Dude, so
Yes. And then also, man, I just want to tell you, it's funny or ironic. I have my ballot in my kitchen. And this is like one of the first times that I'm like, you know what? I need to do this.
Yeah.
And we're constantly meeting people, that are close to us that have, similar ideas and ways that they want to change our future and our kids' future. And I'm just like, I need to do this. And I mean, I've obviously voted in the past, but just really, I'm focused on it. I'm reading
it's
the
amazing
ballot
now because it's important. It's way more important now than
Right.
it's ever been.
Future. Yeah. Future is the biggest. That's all we have.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I love it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Well,
Thank you
Patrick,
guys, I'm blessed to be here. You guys are amazing, man. Thank you for having me. My heart is filled.
Oh, it's all good,
like,
dude.
Wow. I was like, I can't say anything bad because there's nothing bad about you guys. You guys are awesome guys.
I appreciate it, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Did you have an open seat on here anytime? You
Yes.
really do.
Thank
You have
you.
our support.
Appreciate that.
We're going to do Let's Go in 3. You ready, man? 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is EIGHTNINE BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.